So here are 5 ways to make more money in your wellness business in a conscious and heart-centered way. Welcome to this week's episode of the Face Yoga Expert podcast. If you're new around here, my name is Danielle Collins, world-leading face yoga expert, wellness enthusiast, and business coach. And I help you to look and feel the best version of yourself through face yoga and wellness, but also grow your wellness business in a conscious way. And today I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can really up level your wellness business in order to make a little bit more money before the end of the year, but also really lean in to the era we're currently in. So we're going to mention AI, we're going to mention lots of things that are very relevant to now as I record this at the beginning of September 2025. Now, the reason I'm giving you the date here is because if you're watching this at a later date or listening to this at a later date, then of course things might change. But if I was either starting my wellness business from scratch or I just wanted to really up level in the next couple of months, then these are the 5 things I would do. Now, before we get into that, I want to very briefly tell you about the Face Yoga Teacher Training. So if you're already in the wellness or beauty or yoga or fitness or spiritual industries and you would like to add another string to your bow, or you're doing something completely different from wellness at the moment and you're thinking you would either love to add face yoga as a side hustle, or you would like to start a brand new career and business, then the Face Yoga Teacher Training Program is for you. Now, it's super easy to do because you just study in your own time at your own pace. You have a series of online videos, you have a gorgeous online learning manual, you have step-by-step of exactly how to teach the key techniques. So you're not just learning how to do the techniques, you're learning why to do them and how to teach them. You're learning about the anatomy and physiology of the face. You're also learning about how to be an exceptional face yoga teacher. You're learning some business tips in there as well. And it's a very much a holistic course. I come from a background as a wellness coach and a yoga teacher, and obviously I've been teaching face yoga to millions of people around the world for 20 years. So all that experience is in there. So you're definitely getting a holistic learning experience. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you about it today is I'm giving a special bonus offer for September only. So we never do discounts for the course, but occasionally I will do a special bonus, and September is the month that I'm doing this. So if you book teacher training any point during September, you are going to get a free VIP live group coaching call via Zoom with me at the end of September. Now, this is a great chance not only to ask me questions live on Zoom, so we can literally chat face to face. You'll be part of a group, but there'll be plenty of time for everyone to ask questions if you want to, or you can even keep camera off if you prefer and just listen in, because I'm going to give you more tips on how to get more out of the course. I'm going to help you manifest what you want through your business. I'm going to help you set goals. So it's a great addition to what you already get with your teacher training. Now, with the teacher training, you can book any time during September and you can start when you want. You can do it as very much self-study. Then you do a written exam at the end, and then you take around 30 minutes anytime, whether it's in a couple of weeks' time, whether it's in 6 months' time, whether it's in a couple of years' time, with your super trainer, where you do your practical exam, where you teach a mini face yoga class through everything you've learned and all that knowledge you've gained, and you get time one-to-one to speak to your super trainer to ask any questions. So everyone gets that whenever you book the course, whenever you start your teacher training. But if you're booking in September, so if you're actually purchasing the course in September, even if you don't want to start immediately, you'll also get that VIP group coaching call with me. So it's absolutely worth it because you're getting more time and you're getting more out of the course. And you can, of course, whether you do the VIP course or not, get the recording. So I recommend coming live to the call, but you'll get the recording of it if you book any time during September anyway. And when you book your teacher training, you have 3 options to choose from. So you can either train with a super trainer, so that's where you do your written exam and your practical exam with the super trainer. You can do it with me as your trainer, or you have the option to do one-to-one with the super trainer. And that means you do all your self-study and all the rest I've just talked about, but you also spend 6 hours in person or face-to-face via Zoom or FaceTime with your super trainer. So that's a good option if you prefer to learn with someone else all the way through. So if you'd like to learn more about the teacher training course and that special VIP group live coaching call, just go to faceyogaexpert.com, click on teacher training, all the information is there for you. Or you can just go to the description if you're watching on YouTube, or go to your show notes if you're listening on the podcast. You can click directly through and all the information will be laid out for you. So if your intuition is telling you to start teacher training to add to what you currently do, or just to start something completely new and become a certified face yoga teacher to teach anyone around the world in person or online, and to teach groups and individuals, whatever you choose, then this is the time to do it. Okay, so now let's dive into our 5 tips about how you can grow your wellness business before the end of the year in a conscious and heart-centered way. Number 1 is do live events. Now, I think in a world of AI, this is so important now more than ever. We live very much in an information age. We have done for a number of years now, but never so much as this year. Most people will use AI in some way, whether it be ChatGPT, whether they're using it through Google, whether you're doing Alexa, whatever it is you use, or maybe you don't use, but many people are using AI. And what that means is any information we could want on anything, people can get in a matter of seconds. So a few years ago, we didn't have that information at our fingertips, but we absolutely do now. And I think that this is great in many ways. I mean, between you and I, if AI wasn't here, I'd prefer it, but it is here. And I think actually we should celebrate it and lean into it, because it's inevitably going to be part of our lives. So rather than fight against it, we should utilize it. However, people are craving human connection more than they ever have in their lives. So yes, you can find out information instantly, but what you can't get is a real person communicating with you in real time. And that's why live events, I predict, are going to do better than ever. Now, these live events can be in person or they can be online. I actually think in person is going to keep doing better and better, to be honest with you, but I still think there's massive validity in doing it online. But actually talking to people in real time, teaching the techniques you know, and giving your story and your point of view. So you could maybe plan an entire workshop using AI. You could give the steps to AI that you wanted to teach. They could help you to put it all together. They could guide you through how to market it, etc., etc. So that's where AI can be very helpful for a live workshop. However, what AI can't do is bring your story and your point of view. So I think that if you can start to do more live events over the coming months, or even plan for that for next year, I think this is going to be fantastic for your business if you bring in your story and your point of view a little bit. So what I'm talking about with that, your story. Now, this can be either your origin story, your deep why you do what you do, why you're sharing it with other people, or it can just be little anecdotal stories. So it doesn't need to be massively dramatic. It doesn't need to be massively transformational. It can just be little stories. For example, you might be teaching face yoga. You might be teaching a technique for the forehead area. And as part of that, you might want to bring in a very short story, maybe of a sentence or two, about how you used that last night when you had a headache and it helped to ease the headache. That's what I mean by your story and your point of view. Of course, if you want to be a little bit more vulnerable, you want to bring more into it, that's great. Now, of course, the live event doesn't need to be fully about that. You don't need to make the whole thing about your life and your story and your opinions on things. But just remember that people will be seeing robots, so to speak, more and more over the coming months, with AI being part of our lives. I mean, even going on ChatGPT, you're using a robot to give you information. But what people are going to want is to hear real, from the heart and from the soul stories. And when I say your point of view or your opinion, it doesn't need to be wild, it doesn't need to be controversial. Again, it can just be your thought or feeling on something. You can talk about your intuition and how you felt that day, or a worry that you had and how you overcame it. Whatever it is, remember, bringing that into these live events is going to be really beneficial for your wellness business for the rest of the year, but I believe for the coming years as well. Number 2 is use a webinar funnel model. Now, what do I mean by that? Similar to what I just said in terms of doing a live event, but you're making this live event free. You're making it online, almost like a webinar format. So you might have come to one of mine before where I'm doing it via Zoom. I'm giving this for free. I'm doing an hour-and-a-half workshop where I give lots of helpful tips and techniques and advice, whether it be on face yoga or whether it be on business. And then after that, I am offering people a special offer, or maybe like a little bonus, to do a particular course that I've got on offer. And that's what I think is going to keep working. These live events, again, which build human connection, where you can answer people's questions in real time. So if you think a lot of people will come to it, you can set up your Zoom call like a webinar model. That's actually an option on Zoom, where you don't have to mute people, where you can't see people, but they can all hear you. People have the link, they sign up, they come in, you can't see them, but they can ask lots of questions to you. And it's good because you don't have to constantly worry about being interrupted by people forgetting to unmute themselves. So often with these events, I will get up to 2,000 people sign up. And even though not all of them will come live, I know that if I had to manage letting people in via Zoom, etc., then it would just take far too long. So that's the way that I set a webinar model. And just a side note on that, if you're thinking about doing my teacher training VIP call on the 30th of September, which you get as a bonus if you buy teacher training any point in September, that will be like a normal Zoom call. So I will be able to see you, I will be able to hear you, I will have to mute you, but it's because it will be a much smaller group than it would be in a webinar. But going back to what I was saying, you set up a webinar, you do it for free, you give your information, and then you let people know your special offer as part of that. And then you can email people afterwards, let them know about the offer, and also let them know when that's going to finish as well. It's a great way of offering people a little insight into who you are, what you offer, and again, your story and your point of view, but also your knowledge, and then giving them something more that they can choose to purchase afterwards. Okay, so let's talk about the third way to make more money consciously this year, and that is to make an evergreen digital product. Now, if you're listening to this, I'm going to guess you're either thinking of getting into the wellness business, you're thinking of doing teacher training, or you're already in some way in the wellness, beauty, coaching, yoga, fitness industry. And if so, you may already be offering a digital product. If you're not, I would say that's a great addition to what you offer, and a good way just to add a little bit of extra income for you, but to add something of value to other people, because that's what we always want to do. Ask yourself the question, will this add value to people? And if it's a yes, then you should be doing it. So ask yourself that question when it comes to a digital product. And when I say a digital product, the way that I often do this is a mini course. So I have recently launched, and you may already have this, and if you do, I hope you're enjoying it, the Face Yoga Expert Facial at Home course, which is a little course which is just £21. It has 10 videos. It shows you how to do face yoga alongside your skincare, and it's a fantastic way for people to get huge amount of value out of what I'm offering. It's at a low, no-brainer price, but it's something that people can have for life, use again and again, and it's something which people can purchase from me whenever they choose. So there's no time limit on it. I'll often do an early bird launch price, but I still make sure it's a great price after that as well. So it's something that's there on my website and people can buy every day whenever they want. So it's that ongoing income coming in. It's not relying on me working by the hour in order to earn money, but it's also something people can get if maybe they can't come to see me as in a live event, or perhaps they're not able to work one-to-one with me, or they just want something that's going to get them quick results in a short amount of time. So definitely have a little think about that if that's the direction you want to go in. But another great way to make money in a conscious, heart-centered way. And I would say, just as a little add-on to that point, especially when I mention the heart-centered conscious way, always check in with your intuition before you do these things. That's so important. So you can ask yourself, is this right for me? Is this adding value to people? Is this what I want to offer? Is this aligned with my personal values? Is this aligned with my why? That's your why of why you're doing the business, why you started the business, and literally go into your intuition. You can just breathe deeply for a few seconds beforehand and just listen to what your intuition answers, because these tips I'm giving you are going to be fantastic for some people, but for other people, they won't intuitively feel right. So remember, I'm here as a guide for you, but you're the one that knows best for you. So really listen to that inner knowing. The fourth way to make more money in your business over the coming few months and coming few years is to run retreats. Now, generally, I like to teach from my own experience and the things I know a lot about. Now, I must be honest with you, I don't know a huge amount about running retreats. It isn't something I do on my own, set up on my own. I've gone and taught on other people's retreats many times. I've been asked to come across to spas in other countries and to teach there, but it's very different setting up your own retreat. However, I do think if this is something which intuitively feels right for you, this is something people are going to crave more and more over the coming months and years, particularly as AI starts to take over the information side of what we know much, much more. Again, I think people are going to be craving that human connection, being with other like-minded people, being with a teacher in person, in a beautiful, calming, relaxing environment, learning from them, being with their energy. So have a little think about that. That's definitely something I'm going to tune into and lean into over the coming few weeks and few months, and actually think if this is right for me or not, because actually intuitively I definitely feel like it's something that people are going to want. And the fifth way is put together a transformational class package. Now, this is about putting together a series of classes, either in person or online. And maybe, for example, it would be 5 face yoga classes over 5 weeks for an hour each week. I think this is a great way for people to start to understand a little bit more about what you offer, a little bit more about what you do, plus they're with you for long enough to get results. And people are going to always be loyal customers to you if they get results. And if you're just doing a one-off live event, people will love it, people will connect with you, but it's not quite the same as people working with you over a number of days or a number of weeks, because when they do this, this is how they really start to see changes. And if we're talking about face yoga, on their face or even in their mind and body as well. So start to think about what sort of package you can put together bringing together all of the things I've just talked about in terms of bringing in your story, your point of view. You can bring in your experience, you can do it live, you can bring in your energy, you can make sure it's in line with your values and your why, listen to your intuition, but make it so people are actually going to see a difference by the end. So you might say this is 3 sessions, maybe it's 5 sessions, maybe they need 10 sessions with you, maybe they need to see you for 2 or 3 days and you do more of a boot camp style depending on what it is you offer. But putting together a transformational class package is really going to not only be wonderful for people, because at the end of the day people want to see change and they want to see results when they pay money, but also it's going to be great for you because you're, as a teacher, going to see that people have made changes and they've got results. Okay, I hope all these tips were helpful for you. I always think September is a great time for change, for transformation, for starting to revisit and reassess what we want. So take a little bit of time to journal and actually think about what you want and how you want to take through the next few months of the year. And a reminder again, if you'd like to do the Face Yoga Teacher Training Program, now is the time to book. Make sure you book in September. You'll get that VIP live coaching with me, or you'll get the recording of it if you would prefer. But either way, it's a great bonus. So if you're ever going to do it, now is the time. Sending you lots of love. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode, and I'll see you again next week.